Hi, I'm Raven, and we're partnering with Renacar Enterprises to bring you a video series, like a documentary style video production about COVID-19 affecting marginalized groups in Barbados.
Hi, I'm Renee for Renacar Enterprises. A part of the mandate under Renacar Enterprises is a social care component. And due to the lockdown and everybody being home, one of our main concerns is what's happening with marginalized persons and persons from vulnerable communities.
Marginalized is LGBT persons, person with disabilities, however you may fit into that community where you are not widely represented.
To see how they're coping right now, being home, maybe being unemployed, and also generally just family day-to-day life, or the household day-to-day life.
So we've asked people some questions to share their experiences on how they're handling things pre and post COVID-19.
I hope you join us and watch some of the video content that we're sharing. And you as well can comment or share your own experiences under these videos.
And we hope you enjoy this video. So stay tuned and thanks for watching.
Anyway, thank you for listening and join us. So again, thank you for doing this. And as I had mentioned, we're documenting how people are surviving through this present situation of curfew and lockdown. And we just had a few questions. And as I mentioned before, we're putting together a documentary and it will be used publicly. So just making sure that you're okay with all of that before I proceed.
Yeah, that's fine. That's not a problem.
And you just kind of mentioned like being challenged and stuff. What are some of the changes and how are you coping with this curfew and now being in 24-hour lockdown?
Initially, it was hard because, moving from getting in your car, going to work, going to look for a friend, or going out to eat with your friends, to again the restriction of being at home. It was hard. Let's say maybe in the first week, but after I kind of downloaded some stuff on my phone, I got a book, so I started to read, and the more interaction with people that you might not have necessarily been in contact with before, the pandemic took over. So you're actually now messaging your family more. Well, I'm messaging my family more, having longer conversations with them because it's not like you could run them along and say, "Oh, I gotta go back to work," or "I gotta go and do this," because it's really not that there's nothing to do, but there's nothing urgent to be done. Outside of cooking and cleaning the house, that kind of stuff. So I've taken the time to kind of get to know people a little bit more. Spend time, not physical time, but spend time chatting with people and even trying to find out, like, with my younger brothers and them, helping them get stuff, essential stuff, because one of them, he ended up losing his job. So I, spent some money and stuff trying to help him get some stuff until his unemployment checks start to rolling.
Yeah.
What do you do to cope with the lockdown currently?
Well, I have to burn off my phone, like do appointments and stuff, like people that personally I see will call me and like I will meet them, but nothing not going on right now because everybody's scared of the COVID-19 and people trying to like keep safe and healthy and stuff like that. But the honest truth for me, I would eat safe for myself because I would not let that say the fresh and clean and they go with them and get sick. So before they do it shows the distance from people too.
Well, as a person who spent a majority of the time trying to get out of the house, is annoying. Being home all the time with nothing to do, and everyone else being home, so it's a lot of personalities clashing. I would say that I spend most of my time in my bedroom on my laptop.
Okay.
Just doing random things.
Okay. We've obviously been told to social distance, or physical distance from people. um, has not being able to socialize have that has had any impact on you?
Um, Not being able to leave the house have had an impact because it's mainly like getting away from the house. That's why most people leave home anyway. Um, but I'm almost always constantly on a Skype call with friends.
Right. How has social media actually been useful for you to deal with being at home so much?
Surprisingly, it hasn't been useful because I don't know, everyone is home, but yet no one's replying to messages. So it's like a really weird silence because we know that everyone is home, but
Mm-hmm.
yet no one is replying to messages, or they're taking really long to reply to messages, or conversations are really dry. So yeah.
Um, for you, and I guess if you're having this like I guess lull in how people are interacting, has that impacted you in any way? Like feelings or mentally?
Mm, no. Um, I do suffer from anxiety and depression, a lot of that. I'm usually medicated. I'm not right now. Been working on getting back on my meds. So I wouldn't say anything recently have really put any strain on it. Um, it's been a constant in my life. So I haven't felt any difference compared to when before.
Mm-hmm. Actually, you just said you're trying to get back on meds. Has this lockdown affected? Like, do you have regular therapy sessions? And if so, has this impacted your able to have therapy sessions?
Um, Before I never really had constant therapy sessions. It like what really happens is when I started it was going good. I was able to, when I got the meds, I was able to really go to the sessions and stuff because I would have the energy. But as soon as the meds ran out, it was like I no longer had the energy to push myself to go and do this. So I kind of stopped. It's only recently that I started talking back to Jamal over Skype.
Okay. And I will pause and say that that is your therapist.
Yeah.
Yes, good.
You mean outside of binge watching every possible TV series that they could think of?
That
Um,
is yes, part of it. Yes.
because I'm fully watched up and caught up on practically everything. I think the next thing is Game of Thrones from season 3 right up the line. Um, but overall, it's been a challenge. Don't get me wrong, because the 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 national shutdown of the supermarkets, that caused a bit of an issue because the turnaround that the supermarkets have done now is that they're putting out the groceries for you, and then you literally take what you get, kind of thing. And so you don't have the option of choosing what you want. And then the village shops, stuff is a little bit more highly priced. Um, but again, like my view on it is that it could be worse. The things could be extortionately priced. For me, given the present situation, I think it's reasonable to a degree. I did have a challenge the other day where I was trying to get a bottle of gas, and we literally drove around to about 3 to 4 or more gas stations, and we couldn't get gas from any of them. Like gas was sold out because persons were on that said day and beforehand buying 2 and 3 bottles of gas, probably even more. Literally hoard gas. And yeah. So there was that challenge. Eventually, did get some the other day. Um, what else is there? And then there's this situation now, like in my neighborhood, for example, there's a shop close by that there's literally a line there. I don't know when it opens because I don't go to it. Um, but there's literally a line there that lasts forever, and it's not like a long line like how it was at Popular Discount and whatnot, but um, you like there's no waiting area. Like there's a shaded area, yeah, but you don't want to have too many people in our shaded area. And then the next shop down, there's not a lot of variety, you know. And then if you do get in the shop, then there's probably a limited amount of things of, you know, particular um, necessity, so to speak, that you could buy. So again, it's a give and take, you know. So like for me, going out and battling this situation, it's more of what do I need compared to what do I want, you know. And that's how I've been, you know, like negotiating with myself basically on going out or not going out. Like, and again, there's no need for me to go out. Like, I have pretty much everything I need here. Um, once the light is on, once the water's running, once I have food and internet, I'm good. Um, and once
Okay.
my rent is paid, you know. But there are those challenges that, you know, one does have to tackle from time to time.
It's hard. I mean, at first I was thinking, okay, let me just kind of use this as a moment to reset. So I was kind of glad that things were slowing down. And I kind of took it as like a little mini vacation at first. Like, okay, I'm just not gonna not do any work for a little bit, sleep in, that kind of thing. But then it kind of hit me like, oh, I have bills to pay. Um, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. So it kind of forced me to, from a business perspective, to get really creative and find ways to still generate income, or at least generate some awareness for my brand and what I'm doing. So I've been doing that. Fortunately, it's been working out. Some business has actually come through. So that's been good. So I think forcing myself to be creative in that lane, and I think especially because I work in mostly like a digital sphere, it's kind of helped, because obviously this is especially in like Barbados, like it's a country that's very much been opposed to any kind of digital marketing or digital business for a very long time, and now it's like you don't have a choice, guys. So it's
Yeah.
been beneficial for people in my lane somewhat. Um, but aside from that, what I thought originally was a vacation has turned into more of misery for the most part. I have really good days. Today has been a really good day mentally. But then I have days that are pretty devastating. Stuck in bed, can't do anything, don't want to talk to anybody, don't want to eat, just kind of depressed. Um, and just I think overall anxiety, just the uncertainty of everything scares me. Yeah, I think that scares me a lot. And having friends and loved ones who are either in groups that are more susceptible than others, or might be kind of essential workers, is giving me a little bit of anxiety too. And then obviously just not being able to see my partner has been very rough. I think yesterday for me was mostly about that. The uncertainty of when I'm going to see him again. That's been really difficult. But I'm navigating it as best as I can.
So actually, you would have mentioned feeling depressed and anxiety. Are you, or have you in the past, like, had to deal with anxiety and depression?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's usually, I find it's usually seasonal, actually. I find it's usually the beginning of the year, like January to April. So
Yeah.
it's kind of, we're kind of in that phase right now.
Yeah.
I find normally for me, like mentally, I'm really, really good from, this has been like the last 4 years this has been happening. Usually from like June to the end of the year, like I'm pretty good. But the start of the year has always been really rough for me, and I haven't really figured out why that is. But so it's normal to some degree, but it's definitely spiking. I'm having higher peaks of it than normal. It's coming out more regularly. So it's a challenge. To the point today, I've never spoken about my mental health with my mother. And today was the first time that I had a conversation with her about it, because I was actually worried about myself, and I felt like I needed to talk to somebody who is somebody that I would not normally go to. So I kind of went to her, and she was really helpful, surprisingly helpful actually. Yeah, I do experience it, but I think this is the worst I've experienced.
Okay, so how are you mentally, physically coping during the lockdown?
Mentally, I just took the opportunity to reflect on myself and who I am, my purpose, what adjustments I would like to make after I finish the whole lockdown. I just trying to look at it as something as how I could better myself and not keep looking at the negative all the time, because every time you turn on the TV, it's just COVID-19.
News about COVID.
Yeah. So, and it tends to play on your head. When you watch something long enough and it's just being redone constantly, it takes a toll.
Like brainwashing.
Yeah. So I just trying, yes, my love. Okay. So I just trying to say my prayers, and I try to get outside every day. I will go outside, probably in the patio, at least for an hour a day. That way he could run around and I could just breathe in the fresh air.
So, in terms of having your toddler with you, he's how old?
3.
So, how is it with him being constantly home, not being able to go to school, engage with his friends?
It's hard because he doesn't understand and he doesn't care. He's 3 and he wants to go outside and he wants to go with his friends. He do not care how or when. He just want it done. So it's tough trying to have to explain to him, well, you can't go outside and play with this person or that person. You can't go outside with Joshua. Joshua is quarantined. And what is a quarantine? I want some. You have your own in the fridge. You can just sit and relax yourself, sir.
Okay, so I guess that's one of the stressors for some people, having children under a certain age, or children in general.
Yeah.
Dealing with this thing, and some of them not understanding why they can't go to school, I can't go outside as they like, going to the beach.